Marcus Williams walked through the school hallways with his head down, clutching his worn backpack tightly. His shoes had holes that he tried to hide, and his clothes were clean but clearly hand-me-downs. At Jefferson High, that was enough to make him a target. "Look, it's Goodwill Marcus," sneered Tyler, the quarterback who seemed to make it his daily mission to humiliate him. A group of students laughed as Tyler knocked the books from Marcus's hands, sending them scattering across the floor. Marcus silently gathered his books, accustomed to the routine. What they didn't know was that hidden beneath his math textbook was a notebook filled with complex equations, revolutionary algorithms, and breakthrough theories that would have impressed MIT professors. At night, when his mother worked double shifts at the diner, Marcus taught himself advanced calculus, quantum physics, and computer programming using library books and free online resources. The bullying escalated when Marcus was paired with Sarah Chen, the valedictorian, for the state science competition. Sarah initially protested to Mrs. Rodriguez about being paired with the poor kid who never talks. But during their first meeting at the library, Marcus quietly pulled out his notebook. "I've been working on a theoretical model for renewable energy storage," he said softly, showing her pages of intricate calculations. "It could revolutionize how we approach solar panel efficiency." Sarah's eyes widened. The math was beyond anything she'd seen in their advanced placement classes. "Where did you learn this?" "Everywhere," Marcus replied simply. "MIT has free lectures online. So does Stanford. I've been watching them for 3 years." Word of their partnership spread, and the bullying intensified. Tyler and his crew started calling Marcus Professor Poverty and would deliberately trip him in the cafeteria. One particularly cruel day, they dumped his lunch tray and then threw his backpack in the trash, not knowing it contained months of research. Marcus almost broke that day. But Sarah had seen his work, and she wasn't going to let genius go to waste. "We're going to win this competition," she told him firmly. "And then everyone will see." They worked tirelessly. Marcus's renewable energy storage theory was brilliant, but Sarah helped him refine the presentation. She also learned something that changed her perspective forever. Marcus tutored elementary school kids in math after school, for free, because he remembered what it was like to struggle. The day of the state competition arrived. Schools from across the state brought their best and brightest. Tyler and his friends came to watch, expecting to see Marcus humiliate himself and their school. When Marcus and Sarah were announced as the third team to present, Tyler shouted from the audience, "Don't embarrass us, Goodwill." Marcus stepped up to the microphone. For the first time in his high school career, he lifted his head high. "My name is Marcus Williams," he began, his voice growing stronger with each word. "I want to talk to you about changing the world." For the next 20 minutes, Marcus presented his revolutionary energy storage model. He explained complex quantum mechanical principles as if they were simple concepts, drew equations on the board that left judges frantically taking notes, and outlined a practical implementation plan that could reduce global energy costs by 40%. The auditorium fell silent. Even Tyler stopped smirking. Dr. Jennifer Martinez, a professor from Caltech and one of the judges, stood up. "Young man, where did you develop this theory?" "In my bedroom, mostly," Marcus replied honestly. "And at the public library. Have you considered applying to MIT? Or Stanford? Because with work like this, you could write your own ticket to any university in the world." The results were announced an hour later. First place, Marcus Williams and Sarah Chen from Jefferson High. Not only had they won the state competition, but they'd been selected to represent their state at the national level. The ride back to school was surreal. Tyler, who had driven with friends to watch Marcus fail, sat in stunned silence. Sarah couldn't stop talking about how they were going to nationals, but Marcus was quiet, processing everything. The next Monday, everything changed. The local newspaper ran a story, "Local Genius Hidden in Plain Sight." The story detailed Marcus's background, his self-taught education, and his groundbreaking theory. By Tuesday, representatives from 6 universities had called the school. Tyler approached Marcus at his locker, but this time without his usual entourage. "Look, man," Tyler said awkwardly. I didn't know. I mean, I was being a real." He struggled with the words. Marcus looked at him calmly. "You were being what you thought was normal," he said. "But normal isn't good enough anymore, is it?" Tyler looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I mean that while you were worried about my clothes and my shoes, I was learning how to change the world. Which one of us was really winning?" The question hung in the air as Marcus walked away. At Nationals, Marcus and Sarah didn't just win, they revolutionized the competition. Marcus's presentation was so impressive that 3 tech companies offered to fund his research immediately. Stanford offered him a full scholarship with a research position. MIT called it the most impressive work we've seen from a high school student in over a decade. But perhaps the most meaningful moment came when Marcus returned to Jefferson High for graduation. He was valedictorian now, having maintained perfect grades despite years of harassment. As he stood at the podium to deliver his speech, he looked out at the same faces that had mocked him for 4 years. "They say that diamonds are formed under pressure," he began. "Every day, you taught me what pressure felt like. You made me stronger without even knowing it. While you were focused on where I came from, I was focused on where I was going." He paused, his eyes finding Tyler in the crowd. "I want to thank you for underestimating me. It gave me something to prove. But more than that, it taught me that genius isn't about what you wear or where you live. It's about what you do when nobody believes in you." The auditorium erupted in applause, but Marcus wasn't finished. "I'm going to Stanford in the fall, with a full research scholarship. But I'm not going alone. I'm taking the memory of every kid who ever felt invisible with me. And I'm going to make sure that the work I do there changes things for all of them." As Marcus walked across the stage to receive his diploma, Tyler found himself standing and clapping along with everyone else. For the first time, he understood what he'd been too blind to see. True strength wasn't about putting others down, but about rising above those who tried to keep you down. Marcus Williams, the poor black boy they'd bullied every day, was about to change the world. And they'd had front row seats to witness the birth of greatness years later, when Dr. Marcus Williams's revolutionary energy storage technology powered half the world's renewable energy grid. Tyler would tell his own children about the boy he'd underestimated in high school. He'd tell them to look closer, to see potential instead of problems, and to remember that genius often comes disguised as quiet determination in worn-out shoes. Marcus had been right about one thing: while they were focused on where he came from, he was always focused on where he was going. And where he was going was straight to the top, carrying every underestimated kid along with him. The poor boy they'd bullied had indeed been a secret genius. But the real secret wasn't his intelligence, it was his unshakable belief that he was destined for something greater, no matter what anyone else thought.